Hey, welcome back, hosers. Today I was not going to be having a video for Monday. I was like, I'm too busy working in my garden to actually make a gardening video, and I was convinced about that for a few days. I was like, too busy, can't do it. And then I was like, wait, that's kind of the point of my channel. So what I was sticking on is, usually I like to pick a topic and make a video about a topic. And so I'll go through and I'll outline out everything I want to talk about on the topic. And then, and this is really important to me, I like to do some fact checking. I want to make sure that everything I'm talking to you about is factually correct and supported by Utah State University Extension is a really good resource for me to use to see, am I blowing smoke up your butt or is this real? So once I've fact checked everything, I like to do a third level of research where I'm actually going and trying to learn some more, because I actually see these videos I'm making as an opportunity to become a better gardener and not just to help other people garden. So that's my usual process. Instead, what we're going to be doing is just working in the garden, which, I mean, for most of us is kind of what it's all about, right? And I've got my arm on what I'm working on first. This has had me busy for a while, and I think this is the day that I'm going to finish this fence around my garden, which is very exciting for me. So that's what we're going to be working on first. So let's get started. I've got actually most of this fence. I managed to get it framed in mostly yesterday. All I have left to finish this framing is 3 more of these across the top. And I've found that when I'm working by myself, I don't have enough hands. So what I've come up with is I will put this ruler along the back here, and I'm going to want to drill in where I'm going to want to screw in where the bottom of my 2x4 is going to go. And so let's see, this is 3.5 inches wide because it's 2x4, and 2x4s are stupid like that. So I'm going to subtract 7 inches from my 48-inch ruler and sink a screw right here. And I don't have to sink this all the way because I'm going to be screwing it back out, but it actually does save me some time, because this is going to serve as a third hand while I'm out working by myself. And that way I don't have to run inside all the time and be like, honey, could you please hold my lumber so I can work? Which, you know, it saves a bunch of annoyance for both of us. So I'm going with screws and not nails because I happen to have some stainless steel screws, a big bin of them. And they're going to be a little bit sturdier over the long run than nails would be. I don't remember what project I bought these screws for, but I didn't use them. So now I've got them for this one. There we go. I've got plenty of screws in. See, no hands. And this is going to look a little bit too far over. So this one, because the fence is going to continue that way all the way across the property line, I'm going to have to set it in about half the width of the timber. I'm just going to drill some pilot holes because it helps avoid splitting. Lumber is expensive right now. You don't want to split it. That end is secure. Now, I'm going to do this middle one where I have to bend it inward because that's going to shift where my pilot holes on the end one are going to have to be. If you can't have perfection, work with your imperfections. Now I can pull this screw out. And it split. Make sure I didn't do anything too terrible to the width here. About a 1/4 inch off. That's not a big deal. Time for some circular sawing, because I need to cut this down to half the width of the post so that I can screw the other piece to it. So yay. I've got my blade set to just below the width of a 2x4, so I don't cut into my post. There's my fence, a little bit more complete. I'm gonna do this 2 more times and then we can move on to the next part. Alright, now this part of my fence is going to be solid slats, and the reason I made that choice is because I'm going to have my compost pile right here, and what if my neighbor doesn't want to look at my compost pile? So that's what we're going to do. I was going to nail them in place, but I couldn't find any appropriately sized nails in my house, whereas I had lots of exterior screws that are 1 1/4 inch long. So I'm going to screw them in place instead. And one thing I've done to make it all come out even is that I've laid a couple of boards along the bottom, and they're going to just kind of make the slats line up a little bit better visually. It's not super important for everything to line up, but you're making a choice. Do I want to follow the slope of the land, or do I want to have everything straight and level and even? And this is my compromise, and I'm a little bit of both. Oh my gosh, these gloves are like trying to work in oven mitts. They're so pointless. I had some much better gloves, but they are lost. Okay, so I finished this section of the fence with the opaque slats. I thought I was recording, and it turns out I was not. So you didn't get to watch the whole process, but you did see enough of it to, you get the idea. So next we're going to be transitioning to another material for finishing off the rest of this fence, because I want to allow maximum light and airflow while excluding deer. And for that, I've got this. So we'll see if a 100-foot roll will get me around the perimeter. And it's getting really hot, so I'm not 100% sure we're gonna finish today. Whew, summer is a challenge. I should wear gloves for this, but as we discussed earlier, those gloves are like oven mitts. And I just don't have time for that. Why am I cutting the corners off? You'll see. It's just a thought I'm having. Well, that dimension worked out nicely. So what I was hoping was that I could cut the corners off and have this little bit of overlap onto the other side of my posts and use those as an attachment point as well. I had some pliers to hold on to the other end of this. I feel like that might be way less painful. Right, pliers. Let's see how this goes. So these pliers might be too thick. So anyway, this is the idea. I think I'm done for the day. This is actually more work than doing that style fence with the tools that I've got. So make sure you leave any suggestions you have in the comments, and I'm going to do a follow-up video in which you get to see, you know, smiling happy faces in a finished project so that you can have a sense of completion. But right now, the only completion is my prostration from heat stroke. So we're done for the day. Thank you for joining me in my garden, and I hope you have a wonderful time in your own.